Before setting up Vagrant on top of the server which we have provisioned from OVH after setting up CentOS, let us understand the concepts of Vagrant. If you actually follow the industry, earlier we used to have 32-bit processors. And with respect to 32-bit processors, the maximum RAM a server can have is up to 3.5 GB. Beyond that, the server cannot use more memory. For that reason, we end up having too many small servers with the capacity of 3.5 GB and compatible CPU and hard drives, etc. Once the processors have evolved into 64-bit, the capability of servers with respect to memory have increased significantly. It is almost infinite. You can actually have terabytes of memory on each of the server if CPU and others are compatible with them. Okay. As we can have much larger value than 4 GB with respect to memory, we got lot more powerful servers with high amount of CPU, faster network mounted storage. Okay, we can leverage all these things, and instead of wasting our real estate with too many small servers, we can have larger servers. If you have larger servers, for example, if you have a 64 GB machine, the way we have provisioned, and if you want to run a small application where there are 10 or 20 concurrent users, that 64 GB machine is a overkill. Okay. At the same time, you cannot have low-end servers because low-end servers occupy a lot of real estate, and over a period of time, it will be maintenance nightmare. To leverage the high-end servers and use them more effectively by deploying more applications in them, we got the virtualization into the industry. So virtualization provides us the capabilities of carving out multiple virtual hosts with different operating systems on them, and we should be able to deploy different types of applications, databases, etc. on top of them. There are many technologies with respect to virtualization, such as VMware ESXi, Oracle Virtualization, Linux KVM, etc. When it comes to PCs, we use VMware Fusion or Workstation if it is Mac or Windows. Also, we have VirtualBox. You can have VirtualBox on your PC or Mac for free, and you should be able to create virtual machines. You can also have KVM on your Linux-based desktop, and you can actually have virtual machines created using KVM. And it comes as part of most of these modern Linux-based kernels, such as CentOS, Ubuntu, Red Hat, etc. As virtualization got into existence, as enterprises adapted to virtualization, an enterprise might end up with hundreds and thousands of virtual machines. Okay, and there should be a way to automate the creation of those virtual machines so that we are able to support these hundreds and thousands of virtual machines in a reliable fashion. That's where some automation came into existence, which can automate the virtual machines, the creation of virtual machines, maintaining virtual machines, etc. That's where DevOps tools such as Puppet, Chef, Ansible, and many other tools came into existence. If you divide the virtual machine lifecycle into multiple stages, you have the provision state where you provision the virtual machines, and you have maintenance stage where you have to maintain those virtual machines, and so on and so forth. So Vagrant is one of the tools which automate the provision of virtual machines. It does not have capabilities to create virtual machines on its own. It has to work on top of VMware ESXi or KVM or Oracle Virtualization to create virtual machines. So Vagrant is a wrapper on top of these things, which will facilitate us to automate the creation of virtual machines. It also have capabilities of managing them, but there are other tools also to manage the virtual machines, such as Puppet, Chef, Ansible, etc. Each of these tools have capabilities of both provisioning as well as managing them. But Vagrant is pretty straightforward to use. for development or learning purposes. That's why I'm focusing on Vagrant here. In typical enterprise, there might be other tools. If you are using the VMware, which is an enterprise virtualization technology, or they have enterprise virtualization product line. You have to use ESXi, and then there are other products to maintain multiple ESXi's of VMware to manage those virtual machines using UI as well as command line. Anyway, Vagrant is one such tool which can be used in provisioning the servers. It works on top of VMware, Oracle Virtualization, or Linux KVM. So if you want to understand pictorially, this is how it look like. So we have a bare metal server. A bare metal server is nothing but combination of RAM or memory, CPU, and hard drive. So these lines are memory. This is hard drive. So this is CPU. In this case, I have represented the CPU with 4 cores. Again, there can be threads in it, and the capacity of CPU is defined by the number of threads in it. In our case, we have 16 threads with 8 cores, and then these are hard drives. Okay, so this is the bare metal server. We can create a virtual machine on top of it, which is nothing but a virtual host, which will get some amount of memory, some amount of CPU, and some amount of storage. Okay, and to create this virtual machine, we can use either VMware ESXi based tools, or Red Hat or CentOS or any other popular Linux flavors KVM, or we can use Oracle Virtualization also. They provide the capabilities to create virtual machines. Now, over a period of time for a given enterprise, once we have the bare metal server and operating system installed, that operating system can be VMware ESXi or Red Hat or anything. If you want to create virtual machines, typically there will be groups of virtual machines. So this is one group of virtual machines, this is another group of virtual machines, this is another group of virtual machines, and this is another group of virtual machines. And each virtual machine will come with a different amount of memory, CPU, etc., with a different types of software set up on them. Not only from the virtual hardware perspective, even from the softwares that are deployed on the virtual machines determine the groups of these virtual machines. And you can use KVM to create these virtual machines. But if you have to use KVM, you have to create one virtual machine at a time, and then you have to take care of post-installation steps of configuring the network, assigning the host name, registering with the DNS, and all those things. If you use Vagrant, okay, if you use Vagrant, you can actually say, I need these many instances with so and so configuration and with so and so softwares, and it will automatically take care of setting up those virtual machines by taking care of networking, by assigning IP addresses, by installing operating systems on them, by installing softwares on them, and like that you can actually have multiple groups that can be created using Vagrant. Okay, so Vagrant actually facilitates the automation of creating the virtual machine groups within an enterprise. Okay, so having Vagrant for learning purposes can improve the productivity of our learning significantly when it comes to exploring any of these multi-node technologies such as Docker with Kubernetes, OpenStack, and many other DevOps tools and technologies. Okay, so I will be using Vagrant quite a lot going forward to create group of virtual machines to learn a particular technology, and we'll be seeing many courses as part of our LMS. Okay, that being said, as we understand what is Vagrant, now we'll actually go ahead and set up Vagrant on the bare metal server with CentOS 7 on it, and then we'll take it from there.